Alright, here we are. Hi guys. Welcome to today's Plumbers of Data Science episode where we're going to talk about data engineering on this stream. I'm online or I'm live every day around 10:30 p.m. Central European Time or 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today I'm doing a bit of a different thing. I planned to do some stuff about Spotify, and while I was researching for today, I found something regarding Spotify that is super cool, and that is that I actually seen 4 years ago. It's about the Spotify engineering culture, and it is really cool, and I want to show this to you because I really liked it then, and I looked over it, and I still like it. And I think this is useful for many people regarding engineering, regarding software development, and it's very different in many companies. But the Spotify way I actually like very, very well. Hi, Nick. Yeah, Spotify recommender system. We're going to do the Spotify part in a Spotify case study in two parts. Today we're going to look at the engineering culture. So the thing is for development, the general culture is very important because you want to have a good environment for development. You have to want to have teams that work great together, and you want to achieve stuff. And without a fitting culture and the frame around the culture, that is the company, that is basically giving the developers the options to do the stuff they want. This is very, it can be very hard. And so let's dive right in. Here it is. It's a two-part document, or it's made of two articles. They are called Spotify Engineering Culture Part 1 and obviously Part 2. And you can find them at spotifylabs.com. I'm going to, as always, put the links in the description after this. After this stream, I'm going to put the links in the description, but you can find this super quick through Googling it. Okay, let me just zoom a bit here. So the thing is, let me see if I can get this. As I said, this is from early 2014. The thing, we would just go over it. They also have some videos where they explain it, but let's go over it and have a talk about some interesting stuff here. So one thing they say, okay, you have to balance consistency with flexibility, and development wise, a lot of people want to have or looking for consistency in tools in development. And of course, if you're very consistent and if you're using always the same tools and always the same mechanisms, you're not very flexible. And so they are trying to basically not focus on standardization for everything, so you have a bit of a room to use basically the tools and the libraries and so on that you need for the task at hand, that you need for your project. And they say okay, another thing is they have an internal open source model, which I find very good, so that people can work on tools they actually use, and they can improve stuff like libraries that are used within the company, and so people are working on the same stuff, and they are helping make it faster, make it easier to develop stuff, because they are evolving the internal open source projects. And if people are actually working on that, that is really a thing. So if the culture is like okay, go for those open source things and really work on it, then this actually works. If it's just written somewhere, this will not work. Maybe when we go over this, think about the company you currently work, think about the companies you have worked on at, and then you're going to see some differences here. So what they say where Spotify is, if you think about the strictness of development and stuff, you have on the one side Darth Vader, who is very, very strict, and on the other guy, how is he called from the Jungle Book? Yeah, I'm missing the name right now. So very lazy and open and flexible and chill out mindset. They are somewhere on the right side here. So another thing, it's not like screw the rules. It's like rules are good, but you're allowed to break them whenever you need it. And this is one thing that one theme that you're going to see through all of this. It's basically trust. Or the company needs to trust the employees, needs to trust the development teams, because without trust, even this thing, rules are good, but break them when needed. This does not work if you don't trust if you don't trust the people and the developers. And so what they are doing is they have autonomous squads, and they are basically working. They say agile is greater than Scrum, which I found very hilarious, because many companies say, all right, if we want to go and we want to be agile or use agile, and there is more agile equals Scrum, which is yeah. So it's more like principles than practices, and servant is bigger than master. I'm not 100% sure what they meant with this, but they basically went away from is something like a scrum master who is managing the sprints and go and being the manager of, or the helper of people who are doing sprints, into a agile coach that is basically going around, and his sole job is to help people and deliver them solutions to problems they have that are not the coding itself, but around them, and for instance with with collaboration or with missing information and so on. So they have an agile coach who helps them. And the idea here is, how does Spotify do, or how does Spotify X? That depends on the actual squads. So the one I like here the idea loosely coupled but tightly aligned squads. So you have a range of people who are. Let me just. Can I get this bigger? I cannot get this bigger, unfortunately. You have teams, and those teams can loosely collaborate, but the mission, their purpose is tightly aligned. So alignment enables autonomy, because everybody knows, every team knows their job and knows what they have to do, and so basically this is where they are going. And this, as I said, this needs trust, and this is another example how this works on a XY graph. So you have alignment and autonomy, alignment on the vertical, autonomy on the horizontal, and you start with low, where basically everybody is walking around and what should they do? And with alignment high and autonomy low, you have something like the boss tells you, we need to cross the river, and we build me a bridge. And then the guys are running, the development is running and is building the bridge. Or another thing is where the alignment is low and the autonomy is high. So you're on the horizontal at the absolute right and vertical low. Is that basically you say, I hope someone is working on the river problem, and all the teams, because they are not aligned, they are all running around and all trying to somehow solve this problem on their own or in some different ways, which actually also doesn't make sense. So what you need is something like alignment high and autonomy high, which is on the top right. You say we need to cross the river, and you say the teams figure out how, and then the teams have basically the mission, and they go around and they start with all this. They start working on the problem because they know the problem, and they are not just they also know how they are paying into the whole strategy of the company and of the product that they are developing. So what this means is that a developer, somehow you feel like just a cog in the system, and you don't really know your work, how does that pay into the whole thing? Are you doing useless work, or is this something that is very important, and who cares about your stuff? So this helps people have a goal and know how they pay into the whole thing. One cool thing that I like how they are doing it, and we're going to see the benefit of this part here in the next picture. What they are doing is they have decoupled releases. They have also teams that are working on different stuff. So it's not like you have a interface. This is on the left side. You would have a interface and like your Spotify homepage, and the teams are working basically all over the whole thing. So it's not like one team works only on playlists, or one team works only on album covers and so on. So this would be one team where a lot of teams are working together on the same project, and this is then it's hard to coordinate, it's hard to release. And the right side here would be you have your playlist, or the number of playlists, and someone is in charge, or some team is in charge for this feature. Another team is in charge for the overview, the covers, the description of the titles, and so on. Another team is for the playlist within the album responsible. So you have decoupled teams. Of course, they all somehow, and this is what we've seen here in this image here, they are all somehow connected, and they have a common goal, but they are independent, and they can work independent. And this is a huge upside from having such a system where everybody is where teams are decoupled. What this also allows, and what I have experienced myself, many people are doing the left side here that is X'd out. They are basically releasing very seldom. You have big releases, and you're doing a release, and then the release is hard. You need to before that you need to test a lot of stuff, and then you're doing the testing on the live system. So you're doing the development testing. You're doing the testing on the live system. You're then or the quality system, then you're uploading it to the live system, then you need to test it on the live system, you need to start debugging, and so on and so on, and then you're breaking some other stuff, and it's a huge drama. Release, make big releases. Also, it takes long to release a lot of stuff, and this is not very it's not very useful. And what they say, it sounds very simple. We come to this again in the second part. Releasing is easy because they release very often. So basically the act of releasing new software to the platform and putting new software live is for the developer very common. It's not something that happens every few months or every month. It's happening on a very, very frequent basis. And so it's a routine. It's more a routine than a drama. And I like this. Adita asks, does decoupled releases mean that each team works on one component of the application? This is my understanding of it. Exactly. That is the idea. That you have different components in your interface, for instance, or in the application, and the teams work on different stuff. They say also. You can see here. How do I get this bigger? Maybe let me just try something. I need to go to the main so you don't see what I'm doing. Let me save this to downloads. Maybe I can show it bigger if I'm not in the browser. Yeah, right. This is better. This is way better. Just a second, guys. Okay, now I'm back. Why does zooming not work? So the idea here is that you have every team has of course has short-term goals, and what they have also, this is the common goal, is the squad mission, and that is aligned to the product strategy. And I find this is one of the crucial steps here, so that everybody's working together. And then what they say, what is optional regarding the agile, you can't do sprints, but tasks or burn down charts and estimations are optional. What I also like, how they are working, is this community is bigger than structure. So within your team, or within your how did they call this? Within your squad, you have different people who are working on different stuff. And also, let's say if you're stay with data engineering, you have some database experts, you have some networking experts, you have some server experts, for instance, you have some experts that are working on streaming pipelines and so on. And the idea what they are trying to accomplish is that you have you don't have you don't focus on the structure of the teams and make it hierarchical and so on. You focus on building actual they call it tribes and chapters and guilds. And so people find themselves, and for instance, in the teams, or you have across the teams, you have some people who find themselves, and they are working on the same topics, and they can talk through each other. And then over the company, you have multiple of those, how was that meant here exactly? I would need to check the video again. With the tribe concept, as I said, there is a video where they talk about this concept. I'm not 100% sure anymore how they meant it. The main thing here that I find very good in this, that people cross teams and basically cross the company can form guilds, and they can work together on problems, and basically can work on solving company problems, and they can share their knowledge in a simple, in a easy way, in an interesting way, and talk with guys who are doing basically the same. Oops, where is it? Has it gone? And can talk basically with guys who are doing the same thing that they are doing. So I think this is quite a good thing. This is what I don't like here, is that for me this is some marketing bullshit. Our employee satisfaction survey says 91% enjoys working here, 4% don't. Let's fix the 4%. Yeah, of course. But one thing that is important, as I said, is trust is bigger than control, and this is the thing where people need to get out of their head, and politics and fear of doing something wrong. It's a huge problem in companies, and this type of system doesn't work when politics are involved, and people are fear so that they make if they make errors or mistakes, and so stuff doesn't get done. Let's just quickly go down here. I think this maybe I was wrong. This is also in this slide. So the decoupled releases, as we've seen, where people are working on different features. They have some self-serving models, so people can how was that meant here? Oh man, awesome stream today. So I'm sorry guys. This is when you have children. So the thing is that they're releasing every week. You have a release train, and this train comes every week, and you can if you have a feature that needs to be deployed, you can just deploy this every week and make sure that this gets to a routine. And if you have a feature, you can deploy a feature, and you can toggle this feature that it's not visible to the actual users of the system. And so you can switch off stuff that maybe isn't done, or maybe that is in testing phase, and you can test it on the live system, but you don't see it as a user. And so people are shipping every week and shipping new features. Like here, you have finished A, B, and C, and D isn't finished, but you can ship it and test it, and it's not shown to the to the users, and in the next week you ship E, D, and F completely, and then and G, but deactivate G, and yeah. Nick asked, by the way, have you ever been the team lead? I've been, and it's not so funny, especially in companies where politics and bureaucracy prevails. So good agile is not for that kind of companies. Yeah, I'm currently team lead since January last year. A small developer team. Yeah, it's I can the whole politics stuff is a problem. That's a problem, but in bigger companies this tends to be a problem, and people are working to get out of this cycle. But it's hard, and companies need to change. So yeah, I agree. It's funny, companies want to be agile, but they are not built for agile. They're mostly not built for agile, or they're still struggling to implement agile. Yeah. So basically, in this thing, as you can see, the main thing is trust over control, and that people work in teams, and teams are closely aligned, loosely coupled and tightly aligned, so people know which way to go, and they can they work in agile teams. So yeah, teams are agile, and you have a community structure where you can basically form guilds that are working together and communicating on problems. Yeah, Nick, I would say the more important thing here are the guilds, not the tribes itself. The more important things are the guilds here, where people can come together and form a virtual team, and or a focus group, and they can meet, and they can have their own room, and yeah, yeah, a lot of companies strive for that. And yeah, I actually don't want to talk so much about my current company, because yeah. Where people is the most valuable asset, obviously, says Nick. So be a leader, not a boss. Yeah, totally. So this is some this is a problem with some people in traditional companies, that they want to be a boss, but nobody needs or wants a boss. People want to have a problem solver. It's like the agile coach here. You need to be more of a coach and a helper and a supporter than a boss. This doesn't make sense. It's basically useless. Rich says, I wrote a blog post some time ago about how SAP went about agile transformation. Maybe you'd like to have an insight. Rich, where is that? Is that on Medium, or is that on your own blog post? Yeah. Because then we could share it on my Plumbers of Data Science Medium publication, if you want. Yeah. Okay. This is the first part. I found this part interesting. As I said, tribes and so on. Let's get to the second part. The second part of the culture. Let's start. I'm not 100% sure anymore how they went through the whole graphic here. I think they went to the right, and then they went down here, down, and then I think, yeah. We're gonna get to it. So one thing that you want to have in every good company is you want to have okay. Yes, it would, Rich. It would be good if you send it to me on LinkedIn, maybe in our chat. Continuous improvement. This is a thing that have that is it's logical, but yeah, many companies have problems with that. So many companies still work on, like we've seen before, on fear and whose fault was it, and maybe this was in the older times, and yeah, it's a this is a general problem. Where you want to go is continuous improvement. So you want to go away from fault, whose fault was it, into what yeah, more or less that is the already the second step. I would say the first step is what happened, what did we learn from it, and what will we change so it will not happen again. So a continuous improvement process that you're tracking, and yeah, then the thing is, what you want to do is fail first, like Daniel, like the founder of Spotify, say fail fast, learn fast, improve fast. Yeah, that is one thing that you want to do, because if you're afraid of failing, then you're not going to learn, and you're going to deliver slowly, and you're not going to improve very fast. But it's very important that you can do failure recovery, so that you're not doing essential problems and you're basically crashing all of Spotify, and yeah, messing up the whole system. But failure recovery is always bigger than failure avoidance. I absolutely concur here, and this makes totally sense to me. Yeah, the lean startup topic, we have talked about this in previous streams. Here we have a visualization of it. Let me just go closer, so it's even better to see. So it's even easier to see. Lean startup, you have an idea or a problem. This would be for a new project, or for a new feature, and then you prototype it. There are different prototypes. Then you build the basically the minimum viable product. This is the core essence of the new feature, of the solving of the problem of your product. Then you're releasing it. You analyze the data. How are people behaving? How are they using that feature? Then you can tweak it and release it again. Analyze it, tweak it, release it, and through this cycle you can basically improve all the stuff again. So they are impact of A/B testing. They can test, and they have the test group and the control group, and so they can measure the actual impact of the new feature. And I think in the video they are saying what I have said in the last few streams. What they are doing here is they are testing. They are doing A/B tests on the live system, where you don't know if you're the test or the control. Sometimes stuff just looks a bit different, and you don't know that they are doing A/B tests. You're a test subject here for them. Yeah, innovation greater than predictability. Yeah, this is one of the problems. If you're focused on predictability, you're not going to go very far. So these are some general problems here. or some general things. So they say they are more focused on innovation, and value delivery is bigger than plan fulfillment. And this is one thing that is basically for me one of the cores of agile development, is that the plan, you're not going to do so much planning. The main thing is you deliver value. You may not deliver the whole plan that you have done, but the value counts, and not if you're delivering the or fulfilling a plan that you have dreamed about before. Yeah. Speaking of lean, have you done A/B testing with data pipelines, infrastructures? To be honest, not that much. I have done some A/B testing, but that is not that much. I'm not that much into that. But in the future, this is something that I see that is needed a lot more, also in the projects that I'm working on. Just let's go quickly down here. Culture focused roles. This is again the agile. The coaches are working also cross teams, and they can help many people. Let's go here above here. This is a nice quote from Mario Andretti. If everything is under control, you're going too slow. This is a problem of many companies and of many projects, that people are fearing that they break something, and you need to break stuff. If you're not breaking stuff, you're taking way too long to release something new. And so this is also what the upside with this decoupled architecture, decoupled teams, decoupled features that they're working on. It's not only easy to ship it, so because the teams can work on their part of the whole system, and then release it continuously. If you break something, and if something doesn't work anymore, the impact is not that high. So if one of the features are not working anymore, then it's only this feature that is broken, and you can fix it very easily. And this is what I found this very interesting, and I'm not 100% sure how they're doing it. They're doing gradual rollout, so they are rolling out a new feature, and like with the A/B testing, not everybody sees it initially or immediately. Just some people are getting the new feature, some people don't get the new feature, and then here is it again. Experiment-friendly culture. A or B, let's try both and compare data-driven decisions. And this is a big idea. And I like this rollout. Usually, in a lot of systems, what you do is you're making an update, and this update automatically gets rolled out to all the customers and or all the users, and then phones start ringing. And this is not optimal. That would be interesting how they are doing it. Data-driven decisions, waste-repellent culture, aka lean culture. Limited blast radius because they use microservices. In this case, it's not. I think this is not based on technology or what they are doing behind it. The limited blast radius is if you break something, if one team breaks something, it's just a small part of the whole interface of the whole Spotify service. And if they break something and they roll it, if it gets rolled out and it's broken, it's not immediately rolled out to everybody. but only a few selected people are starting to see the new feature, and they start to experience that the feature isn't working, and so they have time to actually to fix the stuff before it gets shown to everybody. So it's a limited blast radius feature-wise if something is broken, and customer or user-wise, because not everybody sees the new features or the updates immediately. If it works, keep it. Otherwise, dump it. Yeah. This is basically how they work. Daily stand up. They keep the daily stand up. I'm personally I'm liking daily stand up. We're doing it way too seldom. It doesn't take so much time. People need to be weary of the time, and they and have in mind that discussions need to be done after the daily stand up and not get into huge discussions. So if you're doing a 5-10 minute stand up, speak about the stuff you have done yesterday and you're going to do today, and where were the problems and what needs to be fixed or something. And then if somebody wants to get into a discussion, discuss it after the daily stand-up. Daily stand-ups are fun to do, and if you have some candidates who are notorious for starting discussions about topics, this is always fun. Google Docs, yeah. Git, of course, Git is super important. Guild conferences. This is what I meant, that you have some. I mean, if you're having a big if you have a big guild with a few hundred people, then you come together once a year or every half a year in a conference and talk about the new stuff and in interesting topics. This is super beneficial, and dump stuff like time reports or handing off work. This is I think with the handoffs, this was meant. Was this in the previous slide? I think this was from the previous slide, the handoffs. It's basically let's just zoom in here. I think what they meant with this slide is people can self-service everything, so you don't need some guys who are working with the infrastructure or with the client app, and then with the features. It's everybody has basically the whole structure of that small part that he is developing, or every team is responsible for, and so they can do the whole life cycle themselves. I think this was what was meant here. Just bring back the second part here. Yeah. And of separate test teams or test phases. This is also something with this model, that you're getting rid of task estimates. How long does stuff take? And what I hate stuff when you say, all right, do you need to develop this thing, and how long does this take? This usually never works. It's totally useless. Meetings. This is corporate BS. Yeah, this would be nice if you can always skip this stuff. Yeah, one tip that I would give you for meetings, try to cut the meeting short. If you have a meeting and somebody is doing 1.5 hour meetings, or is planning 1.5 hour meetings, just try to get it down to an hour. And so you already save half an hour, and yeah, usually you don't need that much time, because then the discussions start, and if you're short on time, then you can focus on the main stuff. Yeah, agile is the balance between chaos and bureaucracy, and yeah, you have the culture that is keeping this alive. This is nice. This is nice. Yeah. Have or propose an agenda and a meeting goal. This is something that I have experienced a lot. That people are setting up meetings, and sometimes the meetings are set up not a few days in advance. You have meetings that are 2 weeks or 3 weeks in advance, and there is no freaking agenda to the meeting. And then the meeting starts popping up a day before the meeting, and then you look, and what was that all about? Okay, you see the headline, and what did we want to talk about, and what was the goal for this meeting? Nothing. And those meetings are a lot of fun. Yeah, minimize. This is also something that is coming from these decoupled projects here. Minimize the need for big projects. Yeah, this is. Big projects are the problem of everything. If you're doing if you're doing huge releases, big projects, big reworks, you're gonna get in trouble. Visualize the process, the progress. I personally hate this stuff. Whenever I see some walls filled with post-its, I could run away. This stuff here, horror. Can you see this? Let me just, oops. It's here. Hundreds of post-its. Please no. Please no. Yeah, so this is something, what's that here? This is something that I really liked 4 years ago, and you should do this. I should do this more often, and you guys should do this more often as well. Definition of awesome. So define some stuff, some goals, define some features of something that would be, if you have this is awesome, and so you can work on this, and you have basically a main, a top goal, I don't know how to describe this in words. Something that, you have some goals that you say, if we make this is awesome. If we only make parts of this would be great too. But the coolest thing would be to have this, and you can work towards it. This is like you have the problem now. The definition of awesome would be great, and so the next target is then this. And so if we're doing a lot of targets, then somehow we arrive at awesome. I personally like this idea, the definition of awesome. I haven't heard before this stuff. Improvement boards. Okay, this is weekly demo, daily sync. I'm not sure if it's so cool to be part of a hack week. Why not? Fail wall also. I like the concept of a fail wall. This, I haven't seen one, but I think this would be cool to have everyone Oh, now I'm contradicting myself. I realize those are all post-its. But it would be cool if people start just putting up their problems, their fails that they have done, so you can see what hasn't worked for them and maybe learn a bit from them. That would be great. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah, guys. I hope this was, or I guess this was interesting. I see a lot of thank yous. Yeah, I'm going to do another stream on Spotify about the actual engineering case study, but I found this was very interesting and I really liked it, and I think we should I should share a bit more of this stuff with you. Yeah, not just the technical stuff. Okay, guys, have a great day, a great evening or morning, depending on where you are and where you're watching. I live stream every day, 10:30 p.m. and p.m. Central European Time, or 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. Share this stuff. Make a screenshot. Check out the sources. Yeah, and then we are seeing each other tomorrow.